All right, so these are most of my other hives in the Hutto area. In the foreground is the hive that I call the brown hive or the mud hive because the paint color was not one I chose. It just looks like mud. It was seconds at Home Depot. So got it for a discount. I don't care what it looks like, and the bees don't seem to either. The one behind this one, that is the one back here, that is what I'm calling the Manville hive because that came as a cutout from a water meter box at the request of the Manville Water District. I previously called them the mean hive, but I've requeened them, and hopefully they won't deserve that anymore, so I'm going to start calling them the Manville hive. And then in the background over here, this is a new cutout, just the last week or so, and I'm going to be trying to determine whether we got the queen on that cutout or not, and see how they're doing. All right, so I'm going to start with what should be the easiest. The brown hive, the mud hive, they came from a late fall swarm last year. And we hope that they have generally been gentle, although we've got a very large population this year. And sometimes the larger the hive gets, the more grumpy they get. And there have also been times that I've had to remediate some comb issues. There we go. You can see how many bees are in this hive just by what's on the top here. These girls are festooning. They would like to make some comb up there, so I'm going to likely give them another frame or two. Set this over here for now. All right, so these two frames have been added fairly recently, so they may not actually need another comb or two, or frame or two. I'm going to go, as I've been doing, I'm going to number all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, so this is, we've got a lot of frames in this little box. The next one will too. All right, so I'm just going to move the divider board a little bit. We're going to take a look at frame 11. And they've started building out the, I gave them a foundation strip. The foundation strip fell a little bit from the top, but they're attaching it more firmly to the top, and they're working now at building comb down from there. All right, this one is 10. And in this one, some of the foundation strip fell off, but it looks like they've already started building on a straight line, and so that's not a huge issue for us. Just reclaim that wax. Use that later. They're already storing some honey and nectar here on this frame. All right, frame 9. Got a little more propolis between these frames than what I've been seeing. So just scrape some of that off so that I can get a good fit when I put them back together. All right, frame 9. They've been drawing quite a lot. We had at some point, and I'm not altogether sure, I think this might have been from the Manville hive when I had it split into 3, that we saw some comb collapse. So I think they've lost a section of comb. I probably ought to cut this at the bottom off because it's laying off to the side. Give them a chance to redraw that. Scrape this off. Just encourage them to just go down from the top. We've got some good honey stores here. Oh, I'm noticing that there's no support in this one. This is one of those frames I need to take out of commission in the fall for some remediation. I need to put a dowel in the center of it. Not quite sure. I've noticed in the videos that several of them, even if I don't see it when I'm actively working the hive, I'll go back later and recognize, oh, there was no dowel there. And not quite sure how that happened, but I need to get that fixed fairly soon. I think it must have been at a time this spring. It's been a race to keep enough frames prepared to stay ahead of their needs. And I think there must have been a time when I knew a hive desperately needed frames, and so I put in a not quite finished one. Shouldn't have done that, and under better circumstances I won't. But this year has been a year of massive growth when I didn't really have the budget for the level of growth that needed to happen. I'm starting to suspect that may always be the case with beekeeping. I suppose in a bad year it wouldn't. That's what makes it a bad year. Okay, so frame 7 and 8 are cross-combed together. So I'm trying to gently separate them and push each one back in line with where it should be built. Alright, so here's frame 7. You can see they're making very thick honeycomb, and they're coming out on this around the dowel rather than this is going to be hard to remediate. So I think, well, what to do with this. I want to be able to take this out of commission as soon as possible. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of leaving it in position 8, I'm going to move it down, and after I've just now marked these, I'm going to put this as position 11. And the reason is I don't want any brood on this. I want to give them the room to make those, make that honeycomb the way they want, and then they'll cap it. And in the fall, I'll try to harvest this frame, and hopefully they'll do a better job of drawing it straight the next time. Alright, so frame 7 was involved in the cross-combing as well. But I don't think it's as bad. It's just this one section here that's a bit of a problem. And you know what I could do? I can't do it today because I didn't bring my honey bucket. But what I could do is harvest the top part, which has the cross-combing. The bottom part is nice and straight. And so if this ends up cross-combed again, that's probably what I'll do. I'll just cut out the top, leave the bottom. So far, all honey. I'm not seeing brood yet. Frame 6. There's brood. Capped and uncapped larvae, and room for the queen to lay. Honey at the top. Let me look for a queen. She doesn't jump out at me yet on that side. Same basic pattern on this side, looking for the queen. Small hive beetle met its death in the meantime. Go back over here in case she was there and tried to hide. Still don't see her, so we will move on. Frame 5. Okay. This one is almost entirely honey. And I really don't want to, sometimes the queen will not cross over a honey wall like this to continue to lay brood on the other side. And so I'm going to move this one also to this far end. For now, I think I'm just going to set it outside the hive. When I put it back in, I'm going to put it at that far end. I really try to avoid separating the brood chamber with honey or with empty frames for that matter, as a general rule. There are cases when I have put an empty frame there, or when I have a good reason to do so, but as a general rule, I like to try to keep, or at least I don't want to do anything to introduce a disruption in that brood chamber. In this case, I think the way that developed was backfilling. Now, from the resistance I'm feeling on this frame, I believe we're cross-combed, but deeper than I can. Oh no, I see it now. Cross-combed a little bit right there. Oh, another heavy one. And on this side, the side that I'm looking at, it's honey and nectar, about half honey capped and half nectar uncapped. On this side we've got double layering going on, and there has been some brood laid here, mostly, well, some drone brood, some regular brood, and there's double layers, so I can't really tell everything that's going on inside. All right. So this one too, I'm going to set outside for a brief time so that I've got room to retrieve a little bit of wax. It fell down. I'm going to put it over there. He didn't like that. 3 more frames. See a lot of brood down here on frame 3. Kill some hive beetles for them. Yep. It's acting like we're cross-combed here too, but I can't see it. No, maybe it was just stuck with propolis. Okay. On this side, we've got brood down here. They're completely skipping the wires, though, past the first 6 inches, so that's not good. And on this side, lots of brood. All right, so I'm looking for a queen. Not seeing a queen. Oh my goodness, we've got a lot of population down there. Let me look on this side. Looking for a queen and not seeing a queen. All right. All right, frame 2. Make a little more room here. Moved a little too rapidly for them. Well, it is really amazing to me. This hive spent so much of its time under my care very weak, mainly because I think they were such a late swarm. But boy, they have prospered this year. I found them in late September. All right, we got brood. See pollen. Brood on this side. Eggs. Queen has been here recently. Let's see if we can spot her here. Don't see a queen there. Nope. All right. Enough of that. All right. And our last for whatever reason, they absolutely did not like me opening that last frame. All right, let's pull it up. We've got some brood there. Looking for a queen. Good here. Not seeing a queen. All right. So that'll be enough for now. I'm just going to start to put them back together. We've got brood and food on frame 1. We've got brood and food on frame 2. Lots of brood on frame 3. Frame 4 was wonky, so that I want to bring it out of circulation, so I'm going to move it down to the end. And it also didn't have any substantial brood on it. And frame 5 was altogether honey, and I don't want to divide their brood chambers, so there was brood on frame 6. I'm going to move it into the main body of the brood area. Boy, I just have live embers falling out of the bottom of this smoker. I need to be really, really careful before I leave to make sure I'm not seeing any signs of smoke left behind. Alright, so what was frame 6 becomes 4. What was frame 7 becomes 5. I've already moved what was frame 8 down to the end. I'm not sure how to be smoking the bees with this smoker running quite so hot. Take a look at it here and see what we're dealing with here. Well, it doesn't look like I've got tightly packed material at the top that's not yet burning or smoldering, so should be okay. Maybe that's the problem, is it's too tightly packed at the bottom, so I'm losing some embers going out because I have no other place to go. Alright, so we're moving what was frame 9 into position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What was 9 is now 6. And then we're going to move 10 and 11 to 7 and 8. Alright. Frame 8 is wonky, and so it's going to be at the very end. Frame 4 is also wonky, and it's going to be next to it at the very end. And then this frame, which one was it? 5? Yeah, I can't read my handwriting. Yep, must have been 5. It's just a pretty sheet of honey. So I'm going to put it closer to the central area here. Try to get these bees to go down now. Okay, so this is not ideal, but in order to get these wonky comb frames remediated, I want to let the brood hatch off of them, and then I'm going to want to pull them out, harvest them using crush and strain in the fall. So I need to leave the bees a little room to work them and close off the space there. So I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do, is just like that. I'm going to try to get these bees off of the lid area. All right,